The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is not confined to the Pacific Ocean. Microplastic pollution, responsible for the accumulation of trillions of pieces of plastic in the center of the ocean, is widespread across the globe, including in Lake Erie, where my thesis is focused. Microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic smaller than the size of a lentil, and they can come from a variety of sources, including fragments from the plastic goods we use every day, as well as microfibers that wash off of synthetic fabrics like fleece, and pellets that are melted down to make the plastic goods we use. When these plastics enter the water, chemicals already present in the water, like pesticides such as DDT, fire retardants, and fertilizers, can accumulate on the plastic, sort of concentrating in these tiny surface areas. And this may not seem like a big deal, but wildlife that live in the water accidentally or intentionally ingest these plastic, like this poor albatross chick. And this can cause tears and blockages in their organs, as well as starvation because they think they're full when they really haven't eaten any food. It can also cause long-term effects as the chemicals leach off of the plastic into the organisms, and these are things like cancer, gene mutations, and reproductive effects. And if this is happening in fish and shellfish that we're consuming, we are also being exposed to the contaminants and these harmful risks. So my thesis is focused on looking at a link between the plastic found on the beach and the contamination in the fish. Because if we can find a link between these things, it saves us a lot of work. It's a lot easier to pick up a piece of plastic off the beach, stick it in some solvent, and leave it for 2 weeks and test it later, than it is to find a fish, catch a fish, kill it, cut it up, separate the fats and the proteins and all the other cells and things in the fish from the chemicals we're looking for. It's a lot more complicated. So what I did is I collected plastic from 6 locations on the southern shore of Lake Erie, and I also bought commercially available, whole, wild-caught fish. And I looked for contaminations in the plastic, as well as their age and what types of plastic they are. I found that all the plastic I tested was contaminated. I also then dissected the fish and looked for plastic in their digestive tracts, and I sampled the fish and looked for chemicals in their tissues, in the fillet parts that we would be eating. Unfortunately, I didn't find any plastic in the fish, and I'm still waiting to hear back if the tissue is contaminated at all. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to find a link between the contaminants I found on the plastic in the beach to the contaminants hopefully I'll find in the fish. And even though I didn't find plastic in the fish, other studies have found plastic in fish in the US that are commercially available. So next time you use a plastic bottle or spray Roundup on your lawn, here's something to think about. Both of those things could end up in your next bite of fish and chips. Thank you.